Good morning. Good morning. Uh, it is a beautiful Sunday morning. I just got done talking to my mentor, Minister Butler, just talking about what we're going to be doing. And I got a word for you because I want you to understand how important it is that you know God is on your side, right? And so, what I'm going to be reading from is Isaiah chapter 2. And I want you to understand just the significance of Israel, because a lot of times in the world that we live in, we don't really care about Israel. We don't really look at Israel the way that God is, because we think we have our own way of thinking or our own belief, but the Bible tells us something different about Israel, that we're supposed to pray for Israel, that we're supposed to love Israel because that's God's chosen people, chosen land. In the society that we live in, we have this misconception where we feel like society teaches us not to love Israel or Jerusalem. But let me read this word for you. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall be in the latter days that the mountain of the house of the Lord is established on the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. Understand how important Jerusalem is. But we have this misconception where, because they at war, they're doing this or doing that or whatever going on. We're not supposed to love Jerusalem or Israel. So that's how the devil uses the word to, or traditions or interpretations to trick you, to deceive you on worldly things. Like the United States is such a holy nation, but that's not God's chosen nation. That's not God's chosen people. But you would never know that if you don't study to show thyself approved. We had this misconception where we're supposed to like feel some type of way about Israel and Jerusalem and stuff like that because of the wars and stuff. But the Bible tells us that there will be wars and rumors of wars. So who am I supposed to take confidence in? Man and the traditions of men and interpretation of man and what society views? I'm supposed to stand close to the word of the living God. Let me continue because it's important that you understand. Don't be deceived. Don't be tricked by the falsehoods out here in this world, by the heresies and the enemy manipulating the airwaves. We're to view Israel and Jerusalem. But you will never know that if you go off of what society says or what these communists or these political parties, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, what they say. Go off what the living word of God says. Now let me continue. And it shall be in the latter days that the mountain of the house of the Lord is established on the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. And many people shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Yaakov, and let him teach us his ways, and let us walk in his paths. You see that? See, it's going to be an opportunity for us to truly learn from God, to truly learn his ways from his holy mountain. But you will never know that if you go off of what society says about Israel, about Jerusalem. But the Bible tells you something totally different. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, it tells you that in the latter days, that the mountain of the house of the Lord is established on the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow. Some, it didn't say a few, it said all nations shall flow to me. So understand the significance of Israel, of Jerusalem. And stop letting these people out here deceive you and trick you and lie to you. Because Jerusalem is his holy hill, his holy mountain. He will set up his kingdom in Jerusalem, whether you want to accept it or not. That's what his word says, not my word. That's what the word of the living God says. Now let me continue. And many people shall come and say, come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and let him teach us his ways, and let us walk in his paths. For out of Zion comes forth the Torah and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. See, but if you fast forward to the book of Matthew, it tells you, in the book of John, it tells you that the word became flesh. But in Isaiah, listen what it says. And let him teach us his ways, and let us walk in his paths. For out of Zion comes forth the Torah and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge between the nations and shall reprove many peoples. He shall judge between the nations and shall reprove many people. Hey, listen, if you ever have a chance, if you ever have an opportunity, understand that Israel is a very important nation to us. Jerusalem is the holy city of our Creator. But you would never know that because of wars and rumors of war, or what society or what the news want to paint Israel to be. But you would never know that Israel has been in a spiritual battle, because there are demonic forces that want to overtake Israel, that want to overtake Jerusalem because of what God said. Listen, and it shall be in the latter days that the mountain of the house of the Lord is established on the top of the mountains. Understand why they want to destroy Jerusalem, Israel, because of what God says. People don't attack us because we live a life so perfect. People attack us because God is in us. Understand the battles that you go through, the trials and the tribulations, and the things that come your way are meant to come your way from the enemy, because God has chosen you, like Israel, like Jerusalem. He wants you low for other people. That word, that love, that compassion, that forgiveness. He wants it to flow through you for other people to see, so they can come learn about Jesus Christ. So they can get to know about the living God of Jacob, of Isaac, of Yasharel. You dealing with what you're dealing with, battling what you're battling. God wants to use you to bring other nations and peoples so that we can teach them his ways, not our ways, not our interpretation, not what we think, not what we believe, but his ways. Are you willing to learn the ways of the living God? You, dealing with what you're dealing with, battling what you're battling, are you willing to learn the ways of the living God? You have a great morning.